So we're starting with movement. Movement consists of tech skill and spacing. Movement is what lets you do anything in the game. Melee pros describe the game's movement as having complete control of your character. Lots of lag is cancelable, inputs are responsive very quickly, and you can chain moves together really fast. Great thing about Melee is it gives you instant feedback for your inputs. If you get stuck, you're inputting too fast. If you're inputting too slow, you're wasting frames and just standing there before you start moving again. So, you want to start slower when you're learning something until you're able to input it smoothly, and then speed it up until you can get it frame perfect. Movement is your entire toolkit in neutral. Zoning, baiting, approaching, comboing, etc. Some tech demands faster inputs, but everyone should look at their character and want to be able to do everything possible to get the largest toolkit available. The limitations are in you and what you physically and mentally are able and willing to train. Tech skill is the mechanical aspect of movement. The key here is reliability. You must be able to depend on your body to do the inputs for the better options. If you believe you can't execute properly, you'll make worse decisions. Practice until tech skill is smooth and subconscious. Only then can you count on it in a last stock situation. Imagine a sequence such as ledge dashing to be a single movement of your hands, rather than 4 individual inputs. Spacing is control of the distance and timing of your character's options. Some people call this microspacing, and this is really knowing how big your hitboxes are, how fast your character is, how animations distort your hitboxes, and the frame data for your moves. In addition to all of those for your opponent's character too. If you know the frames and hitboxes of your opponent's moves, you can exploit tiny vulnerabilities in their timing. Now, timing is spacing in the 4th dimension. Priority is how big the hitbox is, plus how long it stays out. For example, Marth's Rising Fair has a huge hitbox, but that's unchallengeable, pretty much. But it leaves him suspended in the air, vulnerable, for a hot second. If you know how a hitbox comes out, plus the timing for it, you can make your moves beat out their moves in a Tetris stacking fashion. For example, Falcon's Stomp is slow, but he pulls his legs up high enough to jump over Fox's Jab or Grab, which are both way faster. If you read it, you jump over Fox's Jab and can punish with a slow-ass but hard-hitting stomp. Let's go over different kinds of movement. You can break out movement into normal and special movement. Some characters are granted faster or unique movement through their B moves. Falco lasers and Sheik needles have no additional landing lag. Sheik can needle turnaround super quickly. Samus has a bomb that pops her up. Pikachu has quick attack. You get the idea. Every character has something unique, so you need to understand those and explore their different uses. Normal movement applies to every character. So, people know that you can dash dance. But they don't know that if you flick the stick rather than hold the stick all the way, you get a considerably shorter dash. So if you see, I'm at the edge, and I flick forwards, and I end up right below that platform. Whereas if I hold forward, I can go much further than that. If you see me sliding, that's because I'm entering run and I'm holding forward for too long. In a dash dance, you can use these little flicks to kind of bait that you're gonna dash all the way back in. when in actuality you're still a few character distances away from where you could be. And there's this little pause because you're flicking and you're letting that timing bait people's reactions. That could be really significant. Next you have Foxtrotting, which is dashing at the end of your dash in order to keep moving in dash. This allows you to extend your dash forwards infinitely, and you can always be in a perpetual state of dash. You mix this in with your dash dance. You have short and long dashes. A lot of options already. Next you have shield stopping. And this lets you do an aerial from standing jump rather than a dashing jump. If you can see, the dashing jump sends you way further forward than you might want to be. But if you shield right before you jump, you now have the option of jumping straight up or backwards, in addition to forwards. In combination to these different kinds of jump, they allow you greater drift possibilities in your spacing to give you tighter control and spacing of your character. Another part of dashing is pivots. There's one frame of pivoting or turning around in your dash bag that if you input a move, it lets you do any kind of standing attack. If you jump, it means you jump straight up without shield. You can jump straight up with no dash in it because you're hitting the jump on this specific turn frame. So what this lets you do is you can do empty pivots. You can do pivot F tilts or pivot jabs. But you can also do pivot aerials. This is useful for when you need to dash all the way back and then jump to avoid an overshoot aerial, and then you can punish with your own aerial. But you could do the same thing with shield stopping. Pivoting just allows that tighter control and usability. More usability. Okay, next you have run movement. In run, you're not able to turn around quickly anymore. And if you shield, you will slide in your shield. You see I'm shielding and then I'm sliding off the ledge. So the shield doesn't stop you anymore. If you were to jump during that sliding animation while in shield, you'd do a dash jump. So we need to find a way to be able to stop in our run. You can do this by holding down in order to crouch. And this crouching animation is what cancels your run. And then after just holding down for a frame, you're able to cancel your run and do any kind of grounded attack. You see I'm doing running jabs. Normally, if you were dashing, you wouldn't be able to do these jabs. Same thing with Foxtrotting. These running down tilts are the same thing. Running down smashes. If you ever find yourself needing to jump backwards during run, you would have to crouch first in order to stop your momentum before jumping backwards. While you're crouched, you can also run out of crouch by going from down to right or left in one frame, which is a little tight and you need to practice it in order to get it down smooth. But you see a lot of people doing this to tech chase and crouch cancel get up attack. You can do it backwards out of crouch, but it is tight. You have to go from down to left, down to back in a frame. Cactuar dashing is putting these concepts together, and it allows you to get a longer dash dance. I did a little bit there. It's a little hard on my controller, but you can get an extended dash dance by entering run stay and then getting out of run stay and then dashing back out of crouch. Okay, let's talk about wave dashing. Wave dashing is when you jump and then air dodge into the ground. Let's enter the game again. Wave dashing is when you jump and air dodge into the ground. Jumping puts you in jump squat frames, which is, the timing is different for every character. For Falcon, it's 4 frames. On the final frame of your jump squat, before you actually leave the ground, you can input your dodge downwards at an angle in order to get a slide. So you never have to leave the ground if you're doing your fastest possible wave dash. This means all of the momentum from your air dodge is going into your horizontal speed. You can also maximize your horizontal distance by air dodging at the tightest angle horizontally and down. Horizontal, the tightest angle you can get for the max length of your wave dash is approximately 13 degrees. And Falcon, who has kind of a stubby wave length, or wave dash length, you can make it extremely functional by getting the max length of your wave dash. Sometimes you need to go a little further in your wave dash, and what you can do what's called a Dash-wavedash. And all this is you do 1 frame of dash before you jump for your wave dash. And that will mean when you're in your jump squat animation, you'll slide forwards as you're in jump squat. So those 3 to 4 frames you're in jump squat, you'll actually be moving forwards. So again, this lets you get further horizontal than you normally can. So this is a standing max length wave dash. If you do a dash wave dash, you can get to the end of the side platform as Falcon. again, there's the regular. There's the Dash-wavedash. Wavedashing out of shield. This is very important to learn in different matchups, and it's good to have in general, especially if you don't have good out of shield options, like Falcon. This is easy for me because I shield with L and I wavedash with R, but some people use the same trigger for both. You can do it with the same trigger, but it's kind of weird. You have to go into light shield and then do a hard press in order to wavedash. So I would say it's worth learning how to use both triggers for this option. And this means you might have to reconfigure how you shield and wavedash. But with a wavedash out of shield, so long as you can avoid getting hit in your jump squat, you can start sliding away by like frame 4 or frame 5. Okay, walking. For some characters, their walk is really good. Some characters have a really good walk. And walking can be all the spacing that you need, all the micro spacing you need to be in the right position. Some people can also carry this, some characters can also carry this walk momentum and be able to do cool stuff out of it. That was a walk pivot aerial. You can also use walk to walk and then dash in the opposite direction in order to get a moonwalk going, which Mango's known to do with the spaceys. So consider it. If it's good for your characters, don't forget that that's an option while you're in game. Each of these grounded techniques can be seamlessly weaved together for an infinite combination of movement patterns. There's a lot of room for creativity too, but the goal of grounded movement is to be where you need to be when you need to be. Let's talk about vertical movement. So, you have your short hops, your double jumps, your full hops, and you have fast falls. You have jump forward, jump backwards, jump neutral. This is true for your double jumps as well. Those are your jumps. For your fall timings, you have your instant fast fall. You have a delayed fast fall. And you have no fast fall. With this combination of jumping and fall timing, you can really shark people from the air if your character has good jumps with a lot of different characters. And usually the range of your jump and your fall and your drift, either forwards, backwards, or no drift, will give you sufficient range that allows for a mix-up inherent in your jump. Whether you land forwards or if you land backwards. If someone's trying to punish you for landing back, landing forward becomes safe. If someone is trying to stay away from you because they think you're going to land forwards, then you can land back and avoid getting punished. And then you can kind of, when you're in the air and they haven't committed to reading your jump, you have enough time to see what they're doing and be able to respond accordingly a lot of the times. Your vertical movement gives you a significant range of timings and horizontal space to cover. The only downside is that being in the air leaves you vulnerable, because you have to land eventually. And also, if you get hit in the air, then you're stuck in the air, and you've lost control of your character. A lot of times that requires them to read your jump, though, or be so close to you that they can react. Some other useful information is triangle jumping. This is like a bad air dodge almost, but you can gain access to invincibility frames and then get out of that by landing. It's a little laggy, but it's not too laggy. So sometimes that can favor you in a position or defensive aspect. With your jumps, you also have your dash jump, which can give you a lot of forward momentum if you need it. Significantly further than just jumping forwards. Okay, some additional movement stuff. Platforms. If you hold down while passing through a platform, you won't land on top of it. Most of us know this. But what this means is, if you just wait until you're past the platform, holding down, you can do aerials underneath the platforms if your aerials come out fast enough. And this will give you a lower hitbox, a super late hitbox that's pretty safe if you out cancel it. If you wave dash forward onto a platform, so long as you're not holding forward, you'll always land in teeter. If you want to fall off after a wave dash, after a wave land, you have to hold forwards. Otherwise, you'll get stuck in teeter, no matter how close you are to the edge. You don't have this problem with wave dashing backwards. Even without holding back, you will just slide off. But the weird thing about holding back is if you hold shield after your air dodge, you'll go into this tumble, and that can lead to knockdown if you fall far enough onto the ground, which for like Yoshi's in Dreamland, the top platform won't, the side platforms won't catch your fall. So shield dropping, you hold shield and side and then go down a notch, and if you have UCF or a good controller, you'll be able to shield drop and do an aerial. And this is good because you don't have to go through your jump squat frames, which slow you down, before you can do an aerial. And you also don't have to go through this falling, crouching on the platform before you fall animation before you drop through the platform. So all this means you can fall through the platform faster and you can do an aerial faster. So if you start to mix in things that we've learned already with the fast fall timing, when you press down on a platform, all you're doing is dropping through the platform. But your fall speed is normal. You're not fast falling this. So in order to fast fall it, you press down once in order to fall through, and then you press down again immediately afterwards in order to fast fall. So what you're doing is you're double tapping down. And this will allow you to place your hitboxes in different ways depending on the heights of your platform. But the inputs become way more convoluted because you're holding shield forwards, then down, and then You have to go into neutral and then down again in order to fast fall. And then you have to L cancel that if you're doing an aerial. Gets really complicated really fast, but makes you way faster. Let's look at different stages. Like I said, Yoshi's in Dreamland. The platforms are configured a certain way that you can put out surprising hitboxes if you can waveland off of them. This adds a whole nother dimension into your movement and your neutral game. You can catch your opponents off guard if they happen to be in that spot. And then the zone in which you can threaten increases dramatically. So it's worth learning all these tricks and movement things in order to speed up your character and be more threatening. The platform widths and heights are different on each map. You can categorize them accordingly, but their character, all the different cool things you can do with them are character specific. And the heights are all different depending on the stage. So, like you can shield poke this. So, definitely worth learning. Okay, the ledge is one of the most technical aspects of Melee, because it behooves you to be in invincibility as much as possible when you're at the ledge. And a lot of different characters have different stalling tactics or methods of getting onto the ledge with the most invincibility. These include hack stashes, wave landing onto platforms, ledge dashing, aerial interrupts, that was a good one. Kind of. These are all really fast, and you have to do a lot of different frame tight connections in order to get the max like 7 frames of invincibility if you're fast enough. You want to drop from the ledge as soon as you can, as early as you can, which is when that flashing circle, when you grab it, starts to disappear. You can press either back to not fast fall or down to fast fall your fall, depending on whether you want to stall or you want to do a ledge dash. You gotta air dodge at the right height or at the right angle, depending on the distance that you want to go. And you have to link all of that together, which can be really difficult. From the ledge, you can also do invincible aerials. And the ledge becomes a really strong tool or a very dangerous area for you, depending on how proficient you are at the ledge, which you're going to need to be for when the situation is going to inevitably occur. Okay, think that's it. See you guys.